Hey friends, Mike Lindstrom here, Irvine, California, here on a business trip, and with my friend Dr. David Deyhimy. My brother, Dr. David Deyhimy, we actually went to school together at UC San Diego in our fraternity brothers, Pi Kappa Phi, go Pi Caps out there. I get a chance to meet with my friends that I've worked with and not just coach or worked with, but just hear what their businesses are up to and what they're passionate about. So I want to talk a little bit about you, if you don't mind a little bit. I'm going to brag on you. Is that cool?
No,
He doesn't even know we're doing this. We were just had breakfast and I flipped the camera around. So I put him on the spot. I know he do these a lot. He doesn't. So let's go. So 10 years ago, Dave calls me up and says, hey, I know you're in business coaching. We used to work with Robbins. You're doing all this stuff on your own, but I'm really thinking about, business and entrepreneurship. What's the next chapter of my career, my life? And candidly, at the time, it was one of my kind of personal things. I didn't really coach family or friends or fraternity brothers at the time. But Dave was one of the few people back then that changed my paradigm. I realized everybody needs somebody in their life to be accountable to, have confidentiality with, and just share ideas. And plus, we were already friends, so we were able to cut corners very quickly, as I'm sure you can attest to. So fast forward, now it's been 8 years ago, Dave came to me and started talking about this idea of getting away from just being an anesthesiologist and having a full-time job and jumping into entrepreneurship. So he's an entrepreneur. He's doing very well. He's handling one of the biggest issues in our country, which is opioids through addiction medicine. So I'm going to talk about that today. We'll have some other videos forthcoming. We're going to talk about that. But today I wanted to get you real quick to talk about yourself, as a father, as a husband, as an entrepreneur, as a doctor. What are some of the tips that you can share with our friends out there that you feel like made you successful, or things you kind of hang your hat on, say these are habits, or like 2 or 3 things that you would say that have made you successful as a person? What would you say?
First off, intellectual curiosity. Don't ever.
So how'd you call me? Why did you call me?
Because I was already getting bored.
Oh, I'm kidding.
I was getting bored as an anesthesiologist, and I'd only been in private practice for 3 or 4 years, and I was looking at the guys in my group who are 20 or 30 years ahead of me. Right. And by and large, they were unhappy guys. Right. They make plenty of money. They can kind of do whatever they want to do. And so why are they unhappy? And I think it's because they never tried to grow beyond being an anesthesiologist, showing up, doing your shifts, making your money, and they become dissatisfied. Right. So I don't think they were intellectually curious enough. They didn't look to things beyond anesthesia. They didn't think about other interesting things to do. And so for me, doing something compelling is probably the driver, and that's what Mike helped me with.
Thank you. What would you say in terms of, I know he's been humble. He's a very fit guy, by the way. This guy gets on a bike on the weekends, rides like 100 miles, where I can barely walk a mile. So I know balance. So there's other things that you do that maybe, that people just know about you that my friends need to hear. Like, what are some of those other tips that keep you sharp, keep you strong, and make you successful? What would you say?
Yeah, balance is huge. I mean, you have to define what's important to you. And for everybody else, that it's going to be different. And you and I did a lot of exercises in regards to defining what it is that makes you happy. And of course, exercise is big for me. Right. So are friends and family. And so is work. But if you don't have a balance in all of those, then you don't do any of them well.
Yeah. So what's funny, 8 years ago, I was thinking about this when you started this was just a passion and attacking a big issue. You didn't have a team in place per se. I like to highlight that you surround yourself with successful people. Can you speak to that a little bit? I know I teach that a lot in my business, and certainly I never want to be the smartest guy in the room in my business. So what would you say to that about your habits?
So I didn't set out to make this a business or be an entrepreneur. It just kind of happened because I was doing the things that I liked. But one of the problems I came up against is that I wasn't good at certain parts of business. And so another one of the habits for success is definitely surrounding yourself with people who do things well that you don't do. Right. I can do accounting, I can do operations, I can do marketing. Right. I'm not good at any of them. Right. I'm good at being the doctor and having this sort of idea of what the clinical directions are. So I surrounded myself with people who do those things well, and they can make any business or whatever endeavor it is go faster.
Love it. Dave, thanks for letting me do this to you. I know I put you on the spot, put you on camera. We're going to say hi to our friends and family out there. We have a ton of mutual friends from UC San Diego, Go Tritons. So any of our friends, please share this. I know that Dave's obviously very passionate about the subject matter and helping Dave not just get his brand out there, but also his passion, which you're going to hear a lot more from with our work together, doing some videos like this and some marketing. So Dave, thanks so much for coming on. Just being honest, it means a lot.